Hi friends, hi Anna again. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes, today I'm welcoming Anna and we will talk about India, about relationships in Indian families. And first of all, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself a little bit, to tell us where are you from, what do you do, anything you like to share so that our listeners know you a little bit better.
Okay. So my name is Anna. I am from Hungary, and currently I live in Budapest. I studied Oriental languages and cultures. I'm owning a bachelor degree from that, and ever since after that, I worked in finance and as a travel agent. And I have met my now husband, Dilip, who is Indian in Budapest as well. In short.
Yes, that's really nice. But I could see that you also like painting.
Yes, actually, I do paint as a hobby.
Your hobby or is it your profession as well?
I would love it to be my profession one day, but it's not yet. Hopefully, I can work more on that in the future. Now, I'm not working now because the last 6 months we spent in India, and we came back to Budapest in October. And now we are not only thinking of, but starting our own company with Dilip, and working on that now.
Yes, because your paintings are really amazing. I was going through there because I love painting. When I was a child, I used to paint all my friends, especially I love portraits, and I was giving all this painting as gifts. So it was a long time ago. So when I saw your painting, I was really impressed. Yeah, that's really beautiful. You should continue with that.
I want to. I want to. It's just the time. The time is missing.
Yeah, but did you learn it somewhere or is it just your hobby?
It's like I was always, going to these after school special classes in the school, or taking it as an extra class in high school, but nothing like on a real professional level. And a few years ago, I started visiting an atelier of a Hungarian painter in Budapest. And she helped me a lot. She's like supervising my work, let's say, gives me some advice, some suggestions, or
Yes, that's really nice. You should continue for sure. Best of luck with that. Yes, and my favorite question, which you probably heard million of times, how did you meet your husband? Can you please share with us your beautiful love story?
yes, yes. We actually met on Tinder on this dating app.
Yeah, it's the most popular app now, I think. So many people met there.
We matched, I think, Friday afternoon. That was my only time I registered. I was scrolling through the profiles and we matched Friday evening or something like that. Saturday morning we started talking and we talked all day. We agreed to meet the next Tuesday and
Wow.
we went on a date. We went to a cafe and we walked around. It started snowing. It was in February 2018. And it was just so natural to talk to each other, and we, I think, really liked each other. So immediately we hit it off, kind of. We met after that every single day, and first he was afraid to, or even I was not looking for anything serious. He was a bit afraid to get into a serious relationship. He was not looking for anything on the long term, because back then the plan was that this was in February, and the plan was that in the end of July he would finish the university and fly back to India, move back. So we were just taking it very casually. But a month later, like not even a month later, I think 2 weeks later, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And then, like 2 weeks after, he said, I love you.
Yes, Indian men are very romantic, yeah. They fell in love so fast, yeah. You probably, I don't know if you saw Indian movies before you met your husband.
Not much, to be honest, not really.
So you were not interested in Indian culture before? No, you didn't know much about this country.
No, no, I didn't know what I'm getting myself into.
Yes. So how fast did you understand that he is the one, and which qualities of your husband impressed you the most?
It's hard to say because we agreed at the very beginning that this is not going to be something on long term, so I shouldn't, just jump into it wholeheartedly. I was really careful and afraid and like stopping myself from falling in love. But I remember after the first date, the next day I went to the office in the morning, and the colleague who was sitting next to me, she was like, "Oh my God, you're in love already!" Oh my God. And I was like, "No, I just met this guy yesterday for the first time. No." And she was like, yes, you are in love.
So it was obvious that you were in love, yeah? She could read it on your face.
Yes, immediately. Yeah, I don't know, maybe that was the game changer when he asked me if I want to move in with him. And then I knew that, okay, so this is for a longer term. So he's thinking of it as a serious relationship.
Yeah. But did you ever think that you will be marrying a foreigner?
No, not really. Like, weirdly, I have this, and I had this concept in my head ever since I was a child. Maybe I can blame all the Disney movies for this, but I had this idea that every single person have their own special pair in the world, only one person, and that no matter where they are or who they are, they will meet and they will be together eventually, somehow, even if it's on the other side of the world. And boom, this happens to me. So
That's true. That's really amazing. But what did you like the most about your husband?
he was very straightforward and honest. He's an OBS guy. Like, you cannot do any tactics, play games, or because this is very common in today relationships. What I see, especially around me in like Hungary, that people are trying to play some tactics so that the relationship grows as they wish it to grow, or goes in the direction they wish it to go. But he was like, yeah, we discuss this, we talk about everything is an open book. I'm not gonna like trick you, and you shouldn't trick me. And he's very righteous. Like, he's looking for the good, he's doing good, he's speaking good, and there's nothing like, he doesn't have any bad intentions towards anyone. I think this is the most interesting and important trait for me.
So your husband came to Hungary for study, yes?
Yes, he did his master's here in Budapest.
And how long did he stay there before he met you?
Sorry, how?
How long did he stay in Budapest before he met you?
He was already here for 1.5 years when we met. He came to Budapest in 2016 autumn, and we met in February.
Yeah, and how fast did he adjust in Hungary? Because how did he feel there? Did he like the country?
I think he liked it a lot because he participated in the English language course at the university. Most of his friends are also foreigners, so it wasn't, I don't know, such a big deal or a pressure on him to really get into Hungarian language or culture. But I think he likes it a lot, because even when we were in India, sometimes he mentioned that, oh, I miss this from Budapest, oh, I miss that from Budapest. Because life here is a bit more laid back, I would say, especially for people our age. Like, there are a lot of cafes and nightlife and festivals in the summer, and you can travel around easily to many countries from here. So
yeah, it's a very beautiful city. I have never been there, but I heard from many people that they're in love with Budapest. So hopefully one day.
And it's a very pretty city. It's beautiful. Like, yeah, I'm talking about our own capital. I know maybe I'm biased in this, but really, if you start to compare to other places, like, Budapest is in the top.
Yeah, and is it easy to survive without language? Because I know that in some countries it's very difficult. If you don't know the local language, it's not possible to survive. You have to learn it.
I think in Budapest you can more or less go on with English, more or less. Like for everyday tasks or doing some shopping and going on in the city center, there will be someone speaking English. But immediately as you leave the center of Budapest or Budapest in the countryside, it's very limited. It's like
Yes.
almost impossible that someone would speak English.
I compare with Russia because in Russia you can't survive without Russian at all. Even in Moscow you have to speak it. It's very difficult. Not all young people can speak English.
Here, the young people tend to speak English, but for example, people my parents' age or above 40, 45, unless they are doing some job where they need the language, most people don't speak English.
Yeah, it's the same in Russia, yes. And what does your husband like the most about Hungary?
I think the foods, I mean, he's a foodie, he's vegetarian, so it's like hard to find good especially good vegetarian food in Budapest, and it's pricey, but he really loves to discover new places and new food and sit here in the cafe, sit there. I think he likes that, and he's been to Balaton. He likes this chill lifestyle.
And is there something what it's difficult to understand for him, what caused negativity maybe, or everything is fine?
I think most of the things are fine. Of course, I cannot not mention, but there is some level of racism in this country, and especially now with the immigration wave from the Middle East, even the propaganda of the government is not really helping the people who are here with the right papers and want to contribute to the country, even economic ways. So for some group of people, it's hard to understand that they have.
Did your husband face racism as well, or not?
A few times. It happened a few times, but it was not extreme, thankfully, or it was not something that I don't know he should take seriously.
Yeah, it's really sad for me because the same as in Russia, and I'm not sure that I would really like to stay there because of that reason. I wouldn't feel safe for my husband, for my kids, and that's the main reason why probably I would not like to live there. And I heard that in Eastern Europe it's a big problem, especially Poland, I don't know other countries, but in Poland, maybe Czech Republic, I heard, yes, I don't know, so maybe.
I think in bigger cities he's completely safe. The interesting part is that my hometown, the village I am from, is on the Serbian border, very close to the Serbian border. So whenever we spend time there and he decides to go alone to do, I don't know, get something from the shop, or he also has some friends there to meet them, I'm always like, take your passport with you, take your passport with you. So cannot go without. But so far we haven't encountered any issue. So
but I know that in small cities people are much nicer and friendlier. Is it true? How it is in Hungary?
They are curious, I think. So maybe like he's getting all the looks when we walk around in my village.
No, looks are okay. If they don't pass any bad comments or something, it's fine. I don't mind if someone looking at my husband or at me. But the problem is that sometimes people really pass any rude comments, and that's not nice.
Yeah, so far we haven't encountered anything like that. Maybe especially because they see me and they immediately think I'm Hungarian, so I don't think it's not that I'm a threat to anyone, come on, but I don't think they dare. If I would not understand, obviously, I'm sure we would get more of that.
Yeah, I can understand that. And what about your marriage? Where did you get married and for how long, after how long time? Yeah, so you met in 2018, and how long did you date each other before you got married?
Like a bit more than 2 years. He proposed to me in 2020 summer, yes. After the COVID wave, the first COVID wave in Hungary, he asked me actually back then if I would consider moving to India with him. And I was okay, yeah, why not? And that weekend we were going to my parents' house to announce that it looks like we're moving to India soon in the future. So we went there And he came a day later because he said he needs to do some arrangements in Budapest. He still has some job-related thing to do. I was like, okay, you come on Saturday then. And on Saturday when he came, we went for a walk in the park and he proposed to me. So we actually had to announce two news to my parents. That yeah.
And how was the reaction of your family when you told them that you're going to marry an Indian? Were they fine with that?
By that time they were fine with that. It's funny because I didn't think before we met that this would be anything this serious. But I remember that weekend when we started talking, I was also at home with my parents, and on the train when I was going home, we started chatting. And I told my mother that it looks like on Tuesday I'm going to see an Indian guy for a date. And she was washing the dishes, and she just turned around. And she said, no, you cannot go to India. It's too far. No. Wow.
It is.
I think by that time they were fine with it.
Yeah, so they were not against it, so that you are going to marry someone from a totally different culture.
No. I think they saw it coming. Like, we were already dating for 2 years. We were really committed, and
yeah, and what about your husband's family? You know that Indian parents can be very conservative, and I know that especially in the south, and your husband is from Kerala. Yeah, so what was their reaction actually when their son told them that he's in love with the foreigner?
yeah, like originally they are not from Kerala. His family, they are Marwaris from Rajasthan, but he grew up in Kerala because had a business there and still has. Like first, it was a bit difficult for me to understand. I mean, I tried and I was not fighting him for this or anything. It was just a strange thing to me because this is not existent in our culture anymore. Yeah. But they were still looking for brides for him, and the plan was that he would get an arranged marriage, and he had to like refuse these girls or like a little bit maybe fight with his parents that, yeah, I don't want this, I don't want this. But it was kind of a little bit of a secret for a long time that we are together, that I exist. And, you know, there is this girl in Budapest who I just met. Of course, I understand that probably if I were in their place, I would also be like, yeah, come on, this is not something serious. Just come home and we'll get you married off to a nice family and so on. Like, obviously, I had to be patient, and eventually they were okay with me, I think. Like, Dilip stood his ground and said that, okay, I'm coming back to India. I'm working in my father's business, but I'm going to take this girl with me. So they were, okay. And after that, I met them, and they were really nice and really welcoming and really interested in me, and yeah.
But did you get a chance to talk to them before you went to India?
Only we chatted a few times on WhatsApp, but not really.
Okay. And do they speak English? Can you really communicate with them properly?
Yes, his brother and mom speaks perfect English. Even his father knows English a bit, and he understands, I think, most of it. He's just a bit shy to talk in English.
Yeah, because it's always a language gap. Yeah, it's difficult because older generation, they often don't speak enough English, and you can't really communicate. I have this issue as well. Yeah, so it's not easy. I can understand what they say, but I can't reply always. Yes, so
I don't speak English at all, so it's worse a bit for Dilip. I think I have to translate always.
But are you learning each other's languages? Because I know that Hungarian is very difficult language. That's what I hear from all my friends, and I was checking a little bit myself. It sounds really difficult because I have one Hungarian friend, and she told me that she knows Russian a little bit because many Hungarians learn Russian. So she still remembers a little bit of Russian, but Hungarian is very difficult. And the same I can say, I don't know, which language does your husband speak at home? Hindi?
They speak Hindi with the family, yes. But he also speaks Malayalam, Tamil, and Marwari.
Yeah, because if you have to learn Malayalam or Tamil, then it's 10 times more difficult than Hindi, I would say. So do you understand a little bit of Hindi, and does he understand Hungarian?
He understands some Hungarian, especially like food-related things, because when you open a menu, he learned all these basic things, but not he cannot really talk. But like he wants to learn, and I'm supporting that as much as I can. But it's really, really a slow progress because he's surrounded with foreign friends. Even here, I talk in English, so hard to really put the other one. And I was thinking of learning Malayalam in the summer when I was there, because that was the local language, so I could go on more easily with life there. But it's so hard. I started like YouTube videos and tutorials, but I learned Japanese and Hebrew at the university, but still with Malayalam, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah. No, I wanted to learn Tamil when I was a child, just to be able to understand some Indian movies. I really like South Indian movies, and at that time I thought, no, I can't do that. I could do it with Hindi because Hindi is easy, but Malayalam or Tamil, they're incredibly difficult. Yeah, especially pronunciation and the grammar. I think without the teacher you can't survive. You need someone to help you.
Exactly. And by the time I was like, yeah, maybe I should join a course or get a teacher, we were already like very much thinking of coming back. So I was like, yeah, okay, like for one. And to be honest, I think it would be more useful at this point if I learn Hindi instead, because his family speaks Hindi. So
yeah. He's from North India actually, and then of course they speak Hindi or they have their own language in Rajasthan. Yeah, so there are so many languages. It will take all your life to learn all of them. And how long did you stay in India? When did you go there first?
For 6 months. First, I went there for a month in 2019 because we had some issues with his papers, with his visa, and he had to reapply from the embassy in India. He couldn't do it from here anymore according to the legislation. So he had to be in India for like 4 or 5 months, and in that period I went to India for a month and we traveled around a little bit. And after that, now in March, in the very end of March, I was able to fly finally after this COVID extravaganza. And yeah, we got married in the summer and we came back on the 2nd of October. So it was 6 months.
But yes. What was your first impression about India? How did you like this country? Were you shocked? Did you like it a lot? Different people have different feelings. I know that some people are shocked and they notice only bad things about the country. But some people just fell in love and they want to go back. They can't live without India.
I was a bit afraid, to be honest, or like very conscious about it, that it's gonna be a break or a take or break situation. It's like everyone I talk to who has been to India, they either want to never go there again or love it.
That's true. Yes, that's true.
Spectrum, there's nothing in between. And I was like, okay, which one will I be? But I really liked it. It's a very bad kind of generalization, but I like to think that India is like a fairy tale country. Like still, there are so many unexpected for us in Europe, how we live our lives or how things are going here. It's like unexpected and like incredible, and things go so much. People are more easygoing, and I don't have that type of stress on small things in life there.
Yeah, and what do you like the most about India?
The weather, the food, the country is beautiful, the nature, and also people are all nice. Like they were really interested in me, and you are the white lady foreigner.
Yeah, you get a lot of attention there. That's true. You feel like a queen. Yeah, I would say yes.
It was an advantage, actually. I mean, sometimes I felt I'm getting too much attention, but it was never really in a bad way. So I'm lucky in that sense.
And which places did you visit when you went for the first time?
We went to Mumbai, Goa, Kochi, and Delhi, Agra. And we also went to Pune and Lavasa.
Oh, nice. Quite a few places. And where did you like the most?
Surprisingly, I really liked Mumbai as well. It was crazy humid, crazy hot, and crowded, and all this the stereotype that people have of Indian traffic or like big cities is that is Mumbai. But I enjoyed it. It was very interesting to me. Otherwise, really, Kochi is an amazing place. It's worth
Right.
visiting once in a life because it's like God's own country, as they say.
Yeah, that's what I heard, that it's a very beautiful city and actually very nice people in the south, yeah, I would say.
They are more laid back, I would say. I didn't get as much attention in the south, surprisingly, than in the north, even
Yeah,
though.
that's
Uh,
true. That's the point. I was shocked that you get more attention in Delhi, where there are so many foreigners living and married and working there, but everyone look at you like they never saw a foreigner. It's like I don't feel comfortable there, to be honest.
And also, if I get a little sun and my skin is tanned, and especially nowadays we were also wearing masks, I'm dressing in these Indian clothes. So sometimes I wouldn't get recognized immediately that, oh, she's not Indian. Or maybe in the South, they many times asked me in Hindi or other languages, where are you from? Where are you from? And they thought I am from the North.
Yeah,
But
you're lucky.
in the North, they immediately know that, yeah, she's a foreigner. Even though I would think that I'm not so obviously being or were to be pointed out.
Yeah, if you dress in Indian clothes, a little bit tan, yeah, I think everyone could easily think that you are from. Because in the north, girls look totally different than in the south. You know that they can be very fair, tall, like not necessarily with very dark hair. So you
Yeah,
feel
but in
more
the South,
in the south than in the north.
yes. Honestly, yes.
Yeah, because I have never been in the south, but I had a lot of friends from the south, and they were totally different. They were more polite, I would say, more quiet, maybe, I don't know. But in the north, people they behave really bad sometimes. Really. Even if I compare Indian students from the south and from the north, it's like huge gap. It feels like they're from different countries, actually.
Yeah. Like honestly, like India is as big as the whole Europe, and even in Europe there are so many different nations, so many different cultures and traditions, and people behavior changes so much. So we shouldn't be really surprised about it. It's just that it's a surprise to us that there's one country.
Yeah, that's true. And I always say that each state of India is like a separate country, actually. You can say it like that, yes. And what about your second trip? So second trip you went already, you got married already, or you got married in India?
Sorry, the second trip?
When you went to India, like with your husband, did you get married in India, or you married in Hungary as well? Where did you
Uh,
have your ceremony?
we had in India, we did the special marriage act in India in Kochi, especially not only to like get it done. My visa was also based on the fact that we are getting married, and we anyways wanted to get married. It was just a little bit delay because of COVID,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
so we got married in India. It was just like an administration, to be honest. We just went to the marriage officer, submitted the papers, waited our 1 month, and then went there to sign again. And just last week, I got the notification from the Hungarian authorities that the marriage has also been registered here. So here we don't need to get married again. I just had to bring the marriage certificate with translation and apostille, and they register it. So we didn't really have like an official ceremony or anything, but I hope that for next summer, hopefully, we can get some kind of celebration with close friends and family.
You have traditional Indian wedding.
No, I did not. Sadly, even his family couldn't travel to Kochi then because they were living in Gujarat, and
No.
because of some other family emergencies, it was impossible. So it was two of us.
No, but are you still planning to have big Indian wedding, because you know it's totally different, and in the south, I don't know, it would be probably northern traditions because your husband is from north originally, and it's very beautiful, yeah. Okay, there are a lot of people, and it's totally different than what we are used to, but
I don't know. Honestly, we are not planning. a big Marwari wedding. But
No, because I can see that for Indian parents, most of them, it's very important that their children marry in a traditional Indian way. So they don't consider any, like, if you marry somewhere abroad, they don't consider it as a wedding.
I can't tell. Really not planning. Let's see. If the family would want to, I'm happy to do it. To be honest, I'm open to the idea. Otherwise, it's
Yeah, I think for them it would be important. And what about the Hungary for your family, like to have like traditional Hungarian wedding?
yeah. My grandmother, she's the one who's having these ideas of a church wedding and things like that. And I look at her and I'm like, no, like no, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, even I'm not religious. How could I? It's like no. Otherwise, they are really easygoing. They don't care too much. They are like, you do whatever you want. We support you in that. We are happy for you. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's the most important thing. And where did you stay all the 6 months? In Kochi or some other city?
In Kochi. The first month, we were looking for an apartment, so we stayed in Fort Kochi in Airbnb. And after that, we find an apartment in Kochi in Ernakulam. So Fort Kochi is the ancient part, not really ancient, but the old town, let's say, the sea, and on this peninsula. And then we moved like in the city center or into the city.
And how did you feel in this 6 months? How fast did you adjust? And was there something what you didn't like about India? We already talked what you liked there a lot, and was there something what you couldn't understand, maybe, or accept, or?
It was just strange or weird in the sense that I was not used to these things before. That in general, people are really curious, especially because I'm a foreigner, if they get to know it or if they see. And immediately they ask, where are you from? What are you doing? Why are you here? Where do you live? Do you like all these kind of questions, even from strangers when I'm doing a shopping in the supermarket or I'm getting in the elevator with someone and to the ground floor, they are asking me these questions and I'm just like, it's a bit like strange to me, but it's funny actually after a while. And that you have to discover the city or at least the neighborhood you live in order to be able to like get every ingredient to your food on a daily basis or these things. They don't really, or where we lived, I couldn't really find like a similar supermarkets that we have in Europe, where you could get like almost everything. You just go one place, you're done with your shopping list. In India, it's like, okay, so I get fruits from this shop, I get flour from this other shop, but if I want lentils, I go to this guy on the corner. If I want pineapples, I go to that other guy on this other corner. It's like
Yeah, that's true. They don't have very big, not everywhere they have very big supermarket. Of course, in Delhi and bigger cities, you can find almost everything what you are used to. It's very expensive, I heard. Even if you get Gouda cheese, it costs like some piece of gold.
it's expensive, yeah. And also because of the different dietary habits or the food they make, the food we are used to having in Hungary or in Europe, it's either, if it's available, it's very expensive, or it's even not even available sometimes.
Yeah, but did you feel safe over there? Just could you go alone everywhere, or how did you feel there?
That too, I mean, like I had two options: sit home all day alone because the lift was working, or go on and do whatever I want and discover and do shopping. So I went. I even took the public transportation. I traveled on the buses, on the boat jetty, on the metro, because Kochi has a very new, very nice metro line.
Oh, that's nice.
Booked. I don't know, I went alone with taxi and with rickshaws. I had to manage.
So it was okay, everyone could speak English, so there was no problem for you.
Yeah, or worst comes to worst, we played charades. I was like, like doing this or that, showing pictures on my phone or locations. Somehow we figured out.
Yeah, but could you find some friends there, I don't know, among locals or maybe foreigners? Because in Kochi there are quite a few foreigners. I don't know if you met someone.
Yes, I haven't, unfortunately, because in the first month we were in Fort Kochi. That was kind of like outside from everything that's happening. And after that, we were in lockdown for 2.5 months, complete lockdown. Nobody could go, no. So in April, I was lucky to meet Dilip's friends or high school classmates or hang out with them like once or twice. But after that, it was like almost impossible. And honestly, after that, when the curfew was lifted, we were already thinking of coming back. So my mind was not on really getting to know people so much, unfortunately.
Yeah, but when you went to India, did you already knew that you will be coming back?
When I went to India in March, I didn't know. It was the plan that, yeah, now we're going to live here for the almost rest of our lives. Let's see what future holds.
I met you, you were in India, and I thought, and when you told me that I'm back to Hungary, I was surprised. Oh, wow, that was fast.
Yeah. What can I say? People think that it was me who wanted to come back, and people ask me, so what did your husband say when you guys figured out you want to come back? And I'm like, what did I say? I I put everything on this card, that I'm going to India, I'm selling everything here, I'm leaving the country, and now we're back. It's okay.
Yeah, so your husband was missing Hungary then. But what do you think? Could you stay in India like for a long time? Were you comfortable there, or it was like a totally different planet for you, and you saw everything and you said, "No, I'm sorry, darling, but I can't live there."
Well, I think I could. It's just initially, I think that anywhere else you move from your home country, you face some challenges that you have to overcome. It doesn't really matter the location or the culture. Of course, there are smaller or bigger differences between countries, but I think this 6 months was like a good warm up. And if it were, I'm sure this was not the last chapter for us in India, and we're gonna go back one day. And I'm kind of prepared for that, not in the sense that, oh, I'm so afraid when this would happen, but like in an exciting way that, okay, so now I know that this works like that and this works like this. So
Now
I
you
think
want
I
to
could,
try.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
wouldn't.
I know for many girls who go to India for the first time, it's kind of a big shock because it's totally different. Everything is different. And also one thing, when you marry an Indian, you marry the whole family, you can say. You know that. Yeah, and everyone likes to interfere, and they like to know everything, what's going on. And I know that Western girls, they don't like that. Because you were living separately from your husband's family, so that was easier.
Yes, this is what I just wanted to say. That for me, I was lucky that like it was a lucky situation that when I moved to India, the situation was not that I moved in with him and his parents and the whole family in a household, but it was the two of us on our own. And I was happy to spend time with his family, and they were living with us in the last 2 weeks before we came back, and it was good, fine, and there was no issue about that. But living together with the parents, even I wouldn't live together with my own parents,
Yeah, yes.
so yeah. So I can imagine that's difficult to face if you move to India to your
There were
husband's family.
two women on the kitchen, yeah. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's not easy for many girls. That's why most of them prefer to live separately from the families. And better in a different state as far as possible so that they can visit two after the other. That's what I hear from most of them.
I mean, India is big enough, you can live far enough if you want to. But yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of marriages, unfortunately, broke because of parents. Yeah, you probably heard that many parents, they don't accept foreigner wives for their sons, and they just make it difficult. And not all Indian men are strong enough, really, to fight with their families. And many of them, yeah.
There's two things. First of all, Dilip's parents were really open-minded about us, I think, and they really didn't mind. Like, my mother-in-law told me that at first they were more afraid of what people will say, It was not their own fear or their own, I don't know, resistance against a foreign bride. It was just, what will the people say? And then when they told them, they said nothing, you know, that, yeah, Dilip is married to Anna and she's a foreigner. And they were like, oh, okay, fine. It was just an issue, like, when are they getting married? Well, who? It was about that. Who are they getting married to? But once it's done, okay, no problem. It's done.
No, but I think it's very important to meet them in Rio because they can see you, they can understand. Of course, they're worried. They know it's a totally different culture, and what they're afraid, they're very afraid of divorce. They only think that, okay, she is Western, for her to get divorced, it's very easy. So that's why they're afraid. That
same fear that our parents have with these brown colored people from the east. It's like scary, and because it's alien. We don't know much about each other or each other's family or the background or the culture. So just as much as, for example, my parents could be afraid of foreign groom, his parents could be also afraid of me in this sense, which I can understand. Then also the other thing, besides his parents being really open-minded and easygoing with this, is that he's also a very independent and stuff. Whatever he wants to do, he will do. You cannot say no to him. You cannot say that, yeah, oh, my little son, you can do this. If he wants to do something, he's determined.
Yeah, so his parents probably knew about it. So if he decided to marry a foreigner, then he will marry a foreigner. Yeah, no, some men are like that. But I would say that most of Indian men, I would say they're weak. Yeah, they can't go against the family. If the parents say, no, we don't want a foreigner wife, then they listen to them and they say, okay, I love you, but I can't do anything.
The family dynamics are much different than what I see, for example, in Hungary, that the respect towards the parents and the parents' opinion is much, much stronger than what we have here or what I have with my parents. And another thing is that the family bonds are much stronger or closer. They depend more on each other than we do here, I would say. And in many cases, I know officially this caste thing doesn't exist in India, but in people's head it's still there, and they still know each other, the hierarchy, like, and for the people who are in the lower, in the hierarchy, then it's harder, of course, because their life in many aspects may depend more on the community's opinion. Yeah, so if I don't know, if you have like a small business and you do something like, let's say, against these moral rules, then the business partners will not want to work with you anymore. It's just your reputation will go down, and if your finances depend on that, of course you want to avoid that. So it's a bit more complex than just, insisting on traditions.
Yeah, and this caste system is, I know that even people from different castes have to struggle. And of course, with foreigners, it's even more difficult because for them, they are the lowest caste. Foreigners are the lowest caste. We don't have any caste. And I think this is a big problem for India. I'm really against all this caste system because, I don't know, we are used that everyone is equal. And when you see it, how they treat people from lower caste, you feel bad about it.
Yeah, but luckily, like, besides their family being really open-minded and like modern, progressive thinking, if you want to label it, they are also from upper caste, if you want to like name it. So maybe that comes with some level of freedom,
I don't know, but what I noticed that people from the highest caste, I would say they can be much more conservative than people from lower caste. That's what I see, because I have a lot of friends who are married to the highest caste guys, yeah, and what I see in the families that they made a lot of problems before they got married.
Maybe because they are more protective of their status, or I don't know what's the explanation of that.
I think it depends on the family and not really if it's a higher caste or lower caste, because I also knew some people like who are from very tiny Indian villages and their parents didn't have any problems with the foreigner brides. Not at all. They were very fine with that. So I think it depends. Yeah, if the family is open enough, because there are a lot of conservative families in India, and especially in the south. Actually, earlier I think there were not so many marriages between Indians from the south and foreigners. Now I see more and more, and it makes me actually happy that people are more open now. So they're more accepting.
Also, the other thing I feel is that people my age or my generation, whoever I met, of course, it's not very representative research because I met Dilip's friends and his circles who are probably similar-minded people or with a similar background, you know. But those boys and girls are the same, enjoying the same things, thinking the same things, liking the same things. Like they think very similarly to how we think in like Europe or in the West. The generation is really huge between our parents' generation there as well and us, the globalized youth, if you can say that.
Yes, that's true. I was surprised how many Indian girls married foreigners. So many of them. Yeah, I met quite a few because I was kind of interested. Is it only boys married foreigners and girls as well? Even here where I live, I know 2 Indian girls, at least 2, who are married to Dutchmen, and they're very happy together.
Yeah, even in Hungary, there are people with like the setup is changing if it's the wife or the groom or the husband who is Indian. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really nice. And I would like to ask you, was there something, because you were both from totally different cultures, totally different religions, totally different background, was there something what was difficult for you to understand, accept, or everything went smoothly?
I think because none of us is really religious, to be frank. He grew up in a Hindu family, like they are keeping some traditions, of course, like celebrations, and they are saying puja and these formal things. But he is not religious, and even I'm not religious. I'm coming from a Roman Catholic Christian family. But we are not. We are keeping Easter, Christmas, just as the rest of the society around us here, but no deep religious roots. So I think that maybe also made it a bit easier that none of us is related to a certain religion. So none of us had to give in for the other one. And also I felt that the core values in both of us are the same. Yes. So there were some things we discussed, and it was obvious for both of us that we think like that. So, not like small things, of course, or some societal things, but otherwise there were no issue.
So not something like your husband couldn't understand, like because he's not a Western person, or for him was something shocking, and for you it was normal. So there was nothing like that.
Thing like how relationships work around us and how young people are going from one relationship to the next one to the other one, like boys and girls meeting and then partying and then meeting someone else. It was a bit like too fast, I think, for him or him. That this is like, oh, like come on, people, chill out. But nothing else I could recall.
Because like for example, dating thing, it's not very common in India. Okay, in big cities it's very common thing. Now a lot of girls and boys date each other before they got married. But normally, if it's a smaller city, it's not a common thing. It's not even allowed. So you can meet, maybe you can talk on the phone, you can meet maybe in the presence of parents. But anyway, it's not a common thing.
Yeah, also like I think the game changer was that when we got engaged, because that was like an official enough level so that I can be considered, in front of the family. That this is not just some easy fun in Europe or some permanent thing. It was something serious. So from that point, because yes, in India it's not really a common thing, especially in our parents' generations, maybe that dating or boyfriend girlfriend. No, it's like getting engaged and husband wife. That's the setup.
That's true. Yeah, no, sometimes you can break the engagement if something happened, for example. Now it's a pretty common thing. But earlier I know that some people even saw each other for the first time during the wedding. Can you imagine? You never see your husband before, and you just see him, and it can be a big shock also.
In a way, yes, it can happen.
Yeah, so now, of course, now everything is changing slowly in India as well, because I saw myself how many young girls and young boys are just sitting together, they're dating each other and there are no problems, but it's not everywhere like that. It also depends if it's a bigger city, it depends on the state, I think, as well, so it's not so easy. And
Yeah.
did your husband ever think that he will marry a foreigner, or it just happened?
I don't know if he was like thinking. It just he went along.
Yeah, because I think some Indians they know, yeah, that their parents will not accept or something like that, and they don't even try to date any foreigner girl. But in your case,
I
it was
think
different.
he just trusted his instincts and feelings, and I don't think that there's anything to do with me being a foreigner or an Indian. I don't think it would change anything. It's just the personality of both of us.
Yeah, but I think it's also the thing that if parents send their child abroad, they can expect that he can fall in love with a local girl. It's very possible because yeah, he's living there, yeah, and it's normal, yeah. But there are, of course, there are Indian girls. I'm sure there are Indian girls in Hungary, but still, more are Hungarian girls.
I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think that maybe many parents, it's really like a prestigious and fashionable thing to study abroad if you're Indian, to go to the US, to the UK, to Europe and study there and maybe work there a few years. And if parents support that idea, I don't think how they can be still surprised that this open-minded, educated, a little bit westernized child of them would not want to go back and behave according to their real life traditions anymore. It's kind of natural to develop like that.
But why did your husband choose Hungary?
Because he got a free scholarship.
Because most of Indians, as you said, that they prefer some English-speaking countries. It's much easier there for them, and they don't need to learn any language. So I'm kind of surprised. Why Hungary?
He wanted to go to Europe, as far as I know, and have some fun university years there. He finished his bachelor's in Delhi, and then he was looking for either an MBA or some master's course in Europe. And many cases you still need to pay some fees, but Hungary has a scholarship system with third country nationals and universities. So here he could get a free scholarship. And from Budapest, actually, it's in the Schengen zone. It's very well connected with cheap flights and trains through Europe. So that's very cool. And it's relatively cheap. Like from an Indian budget, Hungary is kind of affordable. More affordable than, I don't know, Denmark or the Scandinavian countries. So.
No, Scandinavian countries are very expensive, yeah. But for example, Germany, the education is free there. Sweden, education is free, actually.
That's great.
Yeah, but still Hungary.
Yeah. Also, the education was free for them. They got free accommodation, and they also got some kind of stipendium. So it was very convenient.
Yeah, no, but are there many Indians in Hungary nowadays?
I think, especially around Budapest, Indian and also Pakistani people, like significant. They are also coming to Debrecen because there is a big famous university there as well, especially for medicine and medicine-related studies. So many people from Pakistan and India go there to learn to be a doctor later on, especially with scholarship. Or it's even like, for Hungarians, it's considered to be quite expensive if you don't get accepted to the governmental fund course. But for foreigners, compared to other countries, it's still relatively cheap. The fee of the program is relatively cheap.
And doctors and engineers are the most popular professions in India. Everyone wants to be a doctor. Okay, it's not that the kids want to be doctors, it's actually parents who want them to become doctors, yeah. And I think most of Indians who come to Russia, they study medicine, actually. Engineering or medicine, yes, a lot of them. And I talked to some of them, they said, we didn't want to become doctors. It's just because my father is a doctor and I have to be a doctor. Yeah, that's thing, yeah, that unfortunately. And your husband, he studied which subject?
Marketing. marketing.
Marketing. Okay. It's also important in our times. And what can you say about Indians? What do you think make them different from others? What are the main difference between Indians and Hungarians, for example?
The honesty, I think, in general, that they will be maybe more simple-hearted, but in general kinder. I feel, especially towards each other or towards like human beings in general. I don't like shaming my country, but in Hungary, people can be quite closed or not direct or easygoing, or especially if you met them for the first time with strangers, let's say. If you get to know them, they are nice and kind and warm and welcoming, but you have to reach a certain point to arrive to that state. In India, I felt that it's more immediate.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's hard to judge how, especially because I don't think that Dilip is like a book example of Indian man. He's also very different in his way of thinking and his mindset. So I don't know.
But what do you think? What makes him different from other Indians? How did you imagine what is a typical Indian man?
I don't know. Maybe because I don't think that it's only because he spent some time in the West, but I also think that he's different in the sense that, for example, I never felt that he would misunderstand any gesture or any behavior from women or from Hungarian people that I feel that many Indian men would probably misunderstand if it's coming from me, for let's say. So for example, when we greet each other with my parents or with my family, we hug, we give kisses.
Yes.
Completely non-existent in India, and if I would do the same, for example, with some people in India, they would be outraged, like, oh my god, this lady wants to like come together with, like, she's hitting on me so hard.
Yeah, that's true. Even wife and husband can't hold each other's hands in front of parents. Yes.
Yes. Or if you smile.
Of course, if Joe is going on the street and just starts smiling to some guy, they will immediately think, oh, she's in love with me.
Yeah, exactly. And here it's like, no, people still sometimes smile at each other, and it has nothing to do with the girl hitting on you, you know. And I don't think even before meeting me, he would like misunderstand these things or.
Yeah, but how is it in Hungary? I'm actually curious. Is it this little bit like in Russia that people, they don't really smile? Like when they walk on the street, they don't smile. It's not a common thing that, like in many other countries, that someone just, you don't know this person and he goes on the street and then he say, hi, how are you doing? Yeah, and everyone is smiling.
No. In the villages or in the countryside, of course, where people know each other, it is like that they are smiling or they are like saying hi. But in Budapest or in big cities where you face mostly strangers, it's no. And if you smile, people will look at you like this, like, why are this lady smiling? Why is she smiling? What is so weird with her? You know, it would be
Yeah, that's why it was kind of difficult for me to live in Russia. I'm not that type. I don't like to walk like with a sad face, like something happened and I hate everyone. Don't come close to me. That's why I feel more comfortable, for example, here, because here if you go outside, everyone say hi to you. Everyone is smiling. Everyone is welcoming. And that's what is missing in Eastern Europe, I think. I don't know about Hungary, that's why I am asking you. I was kind of curious. Is it similar to like countries like Poland or Czech Republic?
I think,
and how does your husband feel about it? Because being Indian, Indian people, they are very warming, they are very welcoming, and they like to smile, and they're more open from that point.
Here the thing is that people don't care about anything you do, anything, how you look, how you walk, how you like. Everyone is minding their own business, which is good in some aspects, but it's not so good in other, because if you're, I don't know, very bad example, getting a seizure on the pavement, it's very likely that nobody will come to you to help as well. So it's like very like extreme example, of course, but it's like that. But also in Hungary, there's no issue with you walking around, holding hands, kissing each other on the street. Girls are sitting in the laps of boys in public places. It's like such a common thing, and everyone wearing short skirts in summer. And
Yes. I think it can be culture shock for an Indian person. Yes. Yeah, and actually the way of clothes, it's also very, I think very similar, because in Russia, in Eastern Europe, girls, they like wear short skirts. I don't know why. I never liked, but I think that it's very common. So you can understand, like, I think even Indians can understand, okay, this girl is from Eastern Europe. And I will ask sometimes my husband, how do you know? And look how he dressed. I say, okay, I can recognize Russians. I can say, okay, this person is Russian, but I can't say about everyone yet that she's from Eastern Europe. But somehow, yeah, the way they dress, everyone can understand that.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of similar. But for your husband, does he feel comfortable, like that people are like that? Not very, like.
I think he's okay with it. Maybe at the first times it was like very new for the eye. Let's say it's a new thing for the eye, but I think he got used to it, and like he's not saying anything about how I dress or how I should dress. Also, I'm not trying to bend my boundaries, especially when I was in India. I didn't want to put more attention to myself than needed anyways, but he never said like anything. And it's not like...
You prefer Indian clothes in India?
Yes, yeah, kurtis with leggings mostly, yeah.
Yes.
Also, that's the most convenient in that hot weather. That's the best. So.
Yes, I think so, because I don't know how girls wear jeans when it's hot. For me, it was something really.
It's hot. It's more than 30 degrees every day in Kochi, and still I saw girls doing fashion with knit jumpers on, and I'm like, how? I'm so hot, I'm sweating. I'm like drenched in like light fabric the tunic, and she's wearing jeans and a knit jumper. And I'm like, oh God.
Yes, I think Indian clothes are the best for that. I didn't like even salwar kameez. The only problem that you have to wear the scarf, and sometimes when it's too hot, you just feel like, come on, I want to take it off. I can't handle it, and because it's always kind of pouring, and I see that's why a lot of girls, they don't like to wear salwar kameez because of the scarf. They say that they feel suffocating. It's too hot. But I think it's more comfortable, yeah, just to respect their culture and maybe dress. Sometimes I feel like, because when I go to my husband's place, the girls, some of them are so modern, that I feel myself that who is Indian here, me or them? They're wearing. One time I was walking and I saw a girl just for the first time in India, and she was sitting together with her boyfriend. It was in some big shopping center, and she was wearing shorts which hardly cover her. And I was like, I asked my husband, and I was wearing salwar kameez, and I was, is it normal that she dressed like that? And no one is looking at her. It's like a normal thing. But if I wear salwar kameez, yeah, people still look, yeah, they're curious. Wow, Corey wearing salwar kameez, that's interesting.
Like what I feel in big cities, especially young people, the girls are dressing very modern and they're following the Western fashion, and they're wearing skirts and jeans, shorter dresses and the sandals and like whatever you see in Europe or in America. But what I feel, to be honest, when I see this is I feel that, okay, they are allowed to do it, but I don't think I am. Like there's no rule about it. No one told anything about my clothes anywhere in India to me. It was never a topic. But I just kind of feel like that, okay, they have to be the ones who are changing the rules and not me coming from outside. So yeah. This is my respect towards the country.
Yes, that's true, because okay, they dress like that and no one still look at them. It's kind of some people, maybe some older generation, yeah, they're shocked, yeah, to see some girls. I remember one woman told my husband one time, that she's very surprised that he's married to a foreigner and I'm wearing Indian clothes. But she said that what happened to Indian girls? They're wearing skirts, they're wearing jeans, they don't wear traditional clothes anymore. And it's kind of, according to her, it was very sad. Yeah, so I was, okay, look, I'm more Indian than your own girls.
It was always a confusion when I was wearing Indian clothes because people assume that I am from India, especially, for example, at airports, and they are checking the passport and they are asking me like, are you foreigner? Where are you from? Are you from the north? They're looking at my passport, checking my face. I'm in this Indian clothes, talking to me in a language I don't understand. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's true. I remember one time some Indian guy, he looked at me and he said, you look like Indian, yeah, but you don't have Indian accent. And that's really strange. Where are you from? So by face, I would say that you look like Indian, yeah, from the north. It was in the north in Delhi. But okay, I can't speak Hindi, so I could say him something, but I thought, okay, why should I lie? But it's actually good to know some English and say, yes, I'm Indian, yeah. But I was born abroad, so I don't speak English very well. Yes, that's nice. And what about Indian food? You already mentioned that you like Indian food. What do you like the most?
Yeah, I like paneer. I like paneer a lot, like paneer tikka masala and these things. I like most of it. Like in general, the food we call Indian food in Europe or in the West, which is available in restaurants or what the world knows as Indian food, is mostly the North Indian cuisine. And my husband is mostly into the South Indian cuisine, which is like very different to
Yes,
the North.
it is, yes.
So the South Indian is not as widely available in here. So it's not like, yeah, let's go to a South Indian restaurant and oh, which one to go because there's none. So it's like, I even liked North Indian food before I went to India, but I got to know more of the South Indian dishes when I was here the last time. My mother-in-law also taught me some recipes to cook, and we made dosa and I don't know, chutneys and sambar. So it was really nice. I try to cook also Indian food here. I'm kind of okay with the spiciness of it, to be honest. At this point, if we cook something, we make it like very not so spicy, like very moderate, and we are like, oh, it's not spicy at all. And my mom is like, oh my god, oh, it's so spicy.
Yes, I know this. Yeah, because for me, I love spicy food. Now I can't eat, like, for me, Russian food is just spiceless. I just feel bland. I just need something. I always put something, and I think I can eat even more spicy than my husband, because he's not very used to spicy food. Luckily, that's why he doesn't like when we go to some Indian restaurant. He said that why did they put so much chili? You can't even feel the taste of the dish. So I don't like. But did you like more South Indian or North Indian cuisine? Because it's, as you said, it's really very different. In the South, they put a lot of coconut oil and all these things, and it's more, I think, more spicy, according to me.
Yes, I think like approximately there are the same number of dishes that I like in both, I would say. Maybe it's just the fact that I have been introduced to North Indian cuisine sooner, that I tend to like that more. But if I would try even more dishes in the South Indian, I probably would like them the same percentage.
Yeah, for example, paneer. It's North Indian dish. You said yes, yeah. Palak paneer, matar paneer, yeah, it's all North India. Shahi paneer, I really love it. But if I'm talking about myself, I don't know. Somehow I like North Indian cuisine much more. Maybe I didn't try South Indian enough. Okay, I tried some dishes, but somehow, especially Punjabi food, it's like. I think it's famous everywhere. I think even in the South, you will find Punjabi restaurant, and I really love it. And what about your husband? Because you know that Indians, they're very conservative about their cuisine, and they don't like to try anything else. Yeah, they think that Indian food is the best. Even if the person lived 20 years abroad, he will still look for Indian restaurants. He will still cook only Indian food, and he will not willing to try anything else. How it is in your family?
Quite adventurous with food. Like he's interested in trying new things in general. It's just there are many things he don't eat, of course, especially because of the vegetarian lifestyle. But he's willing to try. He's open.
You're not vegetarian.
I actually became, especially in this last 6 months, even before when we were living together, we didn't cook meat. It's not something that we would prepare at home, or if we eat out, we tend to choose vegetarian. Even I tend to avoid meat somehow, and I don't really miss it, to be honest. Especially my body is now not used to eating meat anymore, so whenever I eat a very little, I feel that this was not a really great idea.
What about, I don't know, maybe fish, chicken, you don't eat?
I like actually seafood and fish, but I haven't eaten it in a long time. And he doesn't eat it either. In Kerala, they are big fish eaters, let's say.
Yes, that's why I'm asking, yeah, because they like fish in the south.
They also eat beef and mutton, the Kerala people. But he was not his mom never cooked it when he was a child or he was growing up, so he didn't really like it still. He don't. Seafood is no.
No, because I'm in the same situation. Like my husband is vegetarian, and I was not born vegetarian, but I never liked, for example, even as a child, I never liked beef. I could eat it, but I didn't like it so much. The only thing I can't stop is like seafood, or especially fish. I'm not crazy about crevets and stuff, and I don't like so much. But fish, it's difficult to stop for me to eat to stop with fish. Yeah, that's why I'm asking, how do you handle this, or you also stop eating everything and eat mostly vegetarian food?
Yes, yeah. It's very rare that I would, like, for example, the other week, Dilip was not at home. I was home with my parents, but he was in Budapest doing some paperwork, and my mom asked what to cook. Is it okay if she makes this pasta with some fish? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I ate from that. But if we cook or if we choose to eat somewhere, we don't eat.
Okay, and what about Hungarian food? Does you want something, or do you have something vegetarian? Because this is the case with Russian food. When my husband went there, I asked some place, do you have something vegetarian? Yes, salad. I said, that's all? Oh, we have fish. And then they're kind of sure, if you are vegetarian, you have to eat fish. Yeah, I said, no fish, please. So nothing at all.
Also, the conception in Hungary as well that fish is not meat, so vegetarians can have it.
That's true.
Like the traditional Hungarian dishes are all with like pork or beef or chicken, most of them. You can find some sweet dishes with like cottage cheese, which are vegetarian, or with some milk dairy products, but all of it is just meat, sausages, stews, stuffed cabbage with minced pork and things like that. So.
But what is your traditional Hungarian dish?
Goulash.
What do you eat the most? It's the same. We also have the same the same name.
We sell this meat in these breadcrumbs. These things are the most common. But especially in Budapest, in the countryside, not really, but in Budapest there are a lot of vegetarian or even vegan restaurants, or restaurants offer vegetarian options. And mainly not the Hungarian restaurants, which are serving this traditional type of food, but there are many international Turkish or even there's Iranian or Italian or Greek restaurants. There you can have plenty of nice vegetarian options.
Yeah, so it's not easy for vegetarian to survive in Hungary. So most of your dishes are with meat.
Meat, yeah.
Yeah, the same case in Russia, yeah. But luckily, what I notice here, I don't know if it's the same in Hungary, I see a lot of vegetarian burgers, for example, available in the shop. And now it's like you can choose, like they make even the same shape, like it's meat, but it says vegetarian. I don't know why they wanted to show it that it looks like meat. If it's vegetarian, why they try to do it this way? They even call it like vegetarian sausage or something, and it doesn't look so exciting actually.
I think, and I see this also not only the vegetarian but the vegan movement, that they are trying to like convert people with these meat replacements, so it still tastes like meat and feels like meat, so they can eat it, let's say, guilt-free, because many people don't give up on meat and it is for them. But honestly, I'm not looking for this meat replacement because I'm not looking for the flavor or the texture of meat anyways. So I don't have to trick my mind that, yeah, I'm eating meat when I don't. So
Yeah, that's kind of strange to me. That's what they want to do. Yeah, that you mentioned that you're eating meat, but it's not meat. Yeah, then why to make it vegetarian? Yeah, that's kind of funny to me. But I noticed that here, even in McDonald's now, earlier, imagine like a few years ago, you would not find anything vegetarian in McDonald's. Now they have really tasty vegetarian like burger in McDonald's, and different types, and more types are coming. It's not in every country I see that. For example, in Germany, if you go to Germany, they don't really have so many like possibilities. Maybe one or yeah, I think only one. But here you can choose between 3 or 4. Which one do you prefer? Yes.
because in Hungary, McDonald's and Burger King just started to introduce one veggie burger. Otherwise, your best option was the fish burger. But for example,
that's all.
in India, more than half of the options in these fast food restaurants, even McDonald's and Burger Kings, are vegetarian.
Yes, that's true. They even have paneer burgers, and it was wow. But they're very spicy.
Yeah. But the good thing is that because this vegetarian movement is growing, that more and more options are coming up.
Yeah, luckily, because it's difficult for vegetarians, I think, to survive, especially in our countries like Russia or Hungary. Yeah, because you can actually, I can understand why they eat so much meat, because in Russia it's very cold. Yeah, and if you don't eat enough proteins, you get sick. Because I knew one Indian guy, he was completely vegetarian. He didn't even eat onion, no garlic, no eggs, nothing at all. And then he got really sick, and the doctors told him, if you don't start at least eating eggs, at least, and even his father, who's a doctor, told him, at least, okay, eat eggs, because you will not survive there. It's cold, and then he started eating eggs in Russia, and so I can understand why it is like that. Yes. It's difficult. In India, it's very easy to be vegetarian because most of the time it's warm. You don't even feel like eating meat.
Exactly. And also what we noticed is, for example, these Pakistani, Middle Eastern, Indian restaurants in Budapest, they have to have a wide selection of meat dishes. Because Hungarians and the local people will go for that, not the vegetarian option.
Yes, that's true. And when they have beef or something, normally you would never find beef in the restaurant, but they have to sell it because otherwise and I think food at the restaurants, they're also adopted for local people, and it's not the same if you test it in India and if you test it here, it's totally different. I think you probably...
Many ingredients are not available here, or only in some packaged, not fresh format. So that also makes the taste different.
But do you have Indian shops where you can get like main ingredients?
Yes, we have some Indian and also Pakistani and Middle Eastern shops we have where you can get various things. Yeah, in Budapest there is a pretty big one where you can get like almost anything. Most important is the Maggi masala noodles.
Yeah, very, very popular dish. Yeah, but do you cook a lot Indian at home, or still not, or you have like mix, or you can cook Italian? Because I think Italian food is the best for vegetarians. It's like everything you can find there. It's so easy. My husband say if I live in Italy, no problems at all.
Yeah, like we don't generally cook so much at home as per se, because of our lifestyle right now, that we are sometimes in Budapest, sometimes in my hometown. We are going here, going there. But when we cook, we tend to cook either like something Italian, some pasta, or Indian. We got many of the ingredients, and we're making poha and like upma or lentils or chapatis and paratas. So
yes, paratas. I love paratas. Yesterday we decided to make aloo paratha. They're my favorite because In Russia, we like to eat potatoes. We eat a lot of potatoes. It's like my husband, he is not really big fan of potatoes, but okay. Aloo paratha is very common thing in Punjab, at least in the north. I think you also probably like it. It's very tasty.
Yeah.
I love it with any feeling, but aloo is special.
I always
And
also try methi paratha, but here you can only get dried methi. I started to grow them in a pot, but it's an unsuccessful attempt yet.
I didn't survive. Yeah, I wish I could grow everything here. Yeah.
Like this big, and then they died. And I'm like, okay.
They don't like our cold climate, and of course in Hungary it's also pretty cold in winter. Yeah, we also started growing some exotic plants here, which are very successful in India. We got eucalyptus, we got the bottle brush, and when it was like, I think last year it started snowing, and there was snow for 1 week. Normally we don't have snow. Then we discovered that our bottle brush is gone, but surprisingly it didn't die. It's alive again. So this year we decided when it's really cold, and now it's getting, I think this winter might be cold. It's already pretty cold here. We decided to cover it at least because it's sad, because very beautiful plants, and if they die, yeah, they can't survive. In India, you can grow anything.
I actually brought them inside in like a big like basket, or how you call it, but I think the air is not humid enough. Maybe that is also one reason.
Here, don't forget, everything died here. All my plants, which were normal before, here they died because it's too humid here. It's like, I think 80–90% of humidity all the time, and I hate it, really. I hate it. I like dry climate. I think in Kerala it would be difficult for me because it's also humid.
Yeah.
Mumbai is humid. I remember our friends told they're from Mumbai. They said that Mumbai is more humid than Netherlands. I say, really? Then I'm never going to stay there because I'm not used to humidity. I think you have to be used to it, otherwise it's difficult.
Yes. It's very difficult. Like in Kerala and in Mumbai, my hair was always like this because of the humidity, like crazy. And I was sweating and everything. And we went to Ahmedabad for 2 weeks, and there it's so dry. It's a dry, hot weather. It was 43 degrees, and my hair was like this straight because it was so dry. And my skin was clearing up. And after that 2 weeks, we went back to Kochi, and it was 27 degrees in the morning when we landed. And I was like, it's so chilly. It's cold here.
Yeah, in the humid, yeah, my hair become actually more curly. I get like very curly. So yeah, no, but for skin, it's better actually to have humid climate. Yeah, it's better than dry, but I prefer dry. I can handle plus 45. We went to India, it was plus 45 and completely dry. I felt so great. Then we went, it was plus 30, 32 max. And then it was, I think, 100% humidity. Everywhere was rice and water. And I was, oh my God, I need to take shower. Every 5 minutes, I need to take shower. It's like you can't go out. You feel like exhausted. You feel like you're sweating terribly. And I didn't feel comfortable, yeah. So I think everyone preferred. So not for me.
It's just part of your life there.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, what did you want to say?
Just endless sweating is just part of your life there.
Yes, no, not for me, for sure. Maybe someone like it. Yeah, some people like humid climate. They're used to it, but I'm not. And do you like Indian music, Indian movies? Do you watch at home?
Sometimes, yes. Yeah, we also watch like Bollywood, but also Malayalam and Tamil movies. Sadly, in this last half year, cinemas were not open. But in 2000, we even went to cinemas there, and it's so much fun to me. It's interesting how, for example, all these Bollywood movies, they don't leave too much to your fantasy. They give every information to you. They tell you everything. You don't really have to figure out things. It's gonna be obvious. But I like them. It's a different kind of fun.
Yeah, because I think Indians, they love watching their movies. I don't know, I love South Indian movies, but the problem is that I don't understand anything. That's why I don't watch them, because earlier when I was watching them in Russia, they were dubbed, so they had subtitles, so they were actually in Russian, so of course I could watch. But if I like to watch when it's in a regional language, it's totally different feeling. And you are sitting like, okay, in Hindi, I don't have problems. I understand most of it. But if I watch in Tamil or Malayalam, it's like I can guess only that what they are talking about. Because many people say you don't need to understand anything. Anyway, it's about love. That in 1 minute, guys, in love, yeah, I love you so much. So it's like the same dialogues all the time. So you don't need to know anything.
I always watch them with subtitles, but when we went to cinema, there was one movie, Home Girl, or what was that, with Ayushmann Khurrana when he's in the whatever Bollywood love story, this rom-com.
Yes,
And
I think.
no subtitles, but still you could understand like everything. The
Yes.
storyline.
You don't even need to understand. And music, which one do you like? Hindi, South Indian, because it's also totally different.
I think I like more the Bollywood style Hindi music and some Punjabi music. Actually, Dilip likes very much.
Then, if it's a New Year party at home, yeah, no, we always put Punjabi, and then I can dance the whole evening. Yeah, it's my favorite. Yes.
The South Indian songs are more like with the drums. I feel like I'm going into a war. Those
Yeah,
songs.
they have the special movements when they dance. It's kind of funny. I try to imitate that because it's always the same. Interesting, but honestly, I think maybe I'm more used to North Indian music. Yeah, and I used to sing in Hindi when I lived in Moscow. I was singing a lot in Hindi during Indian concerts, and it's something like I can't live without Indian music, honestly. And I'm really missing these days because here I don't know anyone, and I just can't go. Like in Belgium, I knew some students, so I could just ask them if I can sing, and they were all, "Oh wow, foreigner can sing!" And actually, my first experience on the stage was in Tamil language, which I didn't know at all. But it was Tamil New Year, and the guys, students, they told me, "You have to sing in Tamil. Yeah, we don't want any Hindi." I said, "How? I don't know any single word in Tamil. Only I can say hello in Tamil. That's all." Okay, you have to learn the song. We just write everything, and then you have to learn. And then that's what I did. And luckily, it was successful. It was a duet with some guy. And it was like romantic song, yeah. It was so, oh my god, it's like it's at least in Hindi I can understand what I'm singing, but then it was like just a lucky guess. Okay, I have to be romantic, yes, okay. But Indian music, yeah, it's special. And do you listen also Hungarian music?
Yes,
Or
yes,
yes?
I do. Yes, I like Hungarian music. I think became better throughout the years. To be honest, there was a very dark time of Hungarian pop music when it was like, oh my god. But or maybe I'm growing older. I don't know. But I started to like some bands or some artists. Mm, but I cannot really make Dilip listen to these songs. I think.
No, so he prefer, but does he like English music? I don't know, maybe some English singers or mostly Indian.
He listens to both Indian, old Bollywood songs, new Punjabi songs.
Oh, yes, what Bollywood is my favorite. Yeah, I just get so emotional. I was so young when I was listening the songs, and now it's already so many years past. And the interesting thing that when I was young, I was listening only to Indian music, but my husband was listening only to Western music, like Michael Jackson, all these things. I think he asked me, "Did you ever listen?" I said, "Yes, I did, but I didn't really like it so much like he did. For him, it was like really." Because young boys, I think they like all these groups which were in past very popular. Like I don't even remember the names now. The only group I liked, yeah, it was actually German one. I think maybe you know Modern Talking.
Yes, of course.
Oh yes, I was crazy about them. All this romantic song, "You my heart, you my soul." Yes, "Cherry Lady" or something. I was like, yeah, that I could listen a lot. Yeah, but mostly, of course, Indian. It's interesting how it is in intercultural families.
I didn't listen to Indian music before we met, and I didn't really discover the current Indian culture or the Bollywood scenes or anything before we met. I started after that. but it's really
So you
fun.
never saw any Indian movie before?
Only one, Three Friends. I saw 2/3 of it, but it was so long. And that was the only one. But after that, we started watching movies together, and I even started watching Hindi movies with my mom. She's really into it.
Yes, no, I think elder generation they like Indian soaps. Yeah, they can just watch them, and there are always something going on, some tragedy, some stuff. I cannot watch Indian soaps. I don't know. I feel like, and I don't like Indian action movie because for me it's like something unreal. It's like one person, yeah, take the gun and then the he kills, like, or they beat him up to death and then he gets up. Yeah, let me kill all of you. Especially all the Indian movies. It was so funny. What they showed, it was something unreal. Yeah, I think that's why many people they don't like Indian movies. They think that they're kind of strange, naive. Yes, if I watch all the Indian movies now, they seems to be naive. It's like how they fall in love, how everything happened. The guy is looking at the girl for ages, and then he's too sure to tell her that yes, I love you. Yesterday we were watching actually pretty funny. I did watch Indian movies for a long time now, I think for 2 years or something. I was very upset about what happened. I don't know if you heard about this actor who was killed, Sushant Singh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after yes, because I was following the news, and first it was suicide, and then it turned out that he was actually killed, and I really liked that guy, kind of. And then I started hitting most of the actors who were involved in it, and I just didn't want to watch Indian movies. And yesterday, we just switched on Netflix, and I thought, okay, let's watch something. And then we came across some Indian movie. It was actually made like both actors are North Indian, but it's made like they're South Indian, and they show it like South Indian love. Yeah, he came to the girl to meet her for the first time, and then he just saw her, and I like how their expressions like. He's sitting like just looking at her, and then okay, maybe they can talk together to each other, and then they go to the room, yeah, and then they talk, and it's such a romantic story. Okay, for us it's kind of a little bit strange because in the West it cannot be like that, yeah. And then the story actually is about long distance relationships. You know, they also started making movies on important topics, because the guy get a job in some other cities in Bangalore, and the girl stay there at his home, and that's how the relations develop. Immediately after marriage, he leaves her. I don't know if you watch this movie, but it's very funny, a little bit funny, a little bit naive, but I kind of like that movie.
I think this naive voice is still present in the currently made the new movies, but they are started to touch on some modern topics, like with this long distance relationships. Also, there is one movie when Sonam Kapoor is playing a girl who wants to get together with a girl, and Anil Kapoor, her father, is playing her father, and that's the movie about. And it's like it's a very new topic, I think, to the Bollywood.
Yeah, there was another movie I remember with Ayushmann Khurrana where I think his mother became pregnant when he is already 25. I think you saw that one. Yeah, and at the same time playing his fiancé, the same who was playing yesterday in the movie. And yeah, and it was also kind of very strange topic for Indian society that a woman who is already on pension or something, I don't know, maybe has grown up son, and all of a sudden she's expecting a baby. Yeah, they started showing very important topics, but hopefully it would be successful about castes, also about all these important things.
It's a slow progress, but it's some progress. Yeah.
Yeah, at least they started. Yeah, and my traditional question, which I ask all the girls, what would you recommend to the girls who are in relation with Indian men? What they should pay attention at to prevent any misunderstanding, any problems in future? How to understand if man is serious about you? Because if it's important that he introduce you to the family, what do you think? It's important to meet them before you decide to get married, or it's okay to meet after?
Like for myself, we already decided that we would get married before I met them. It was not without their consent, of course,
Yes,
and it
of
was
course.
not against them. It was just some weird. Whenever I saw these American movies from the 90s or the 200,000s or 2000s, that yeah, they are already married and maybe they are also having kids, but this is the first time when they meet one's parents, and I'm like, how can this happen? So unrealistic. But I was in this situation, kinda. That's okay. I don't know when will I meet them. Will they like me? It was so uncertain. But my advice would be, if you know, you know, first of all, if he's the one, you have the feeling, your little voice will be right, and you need to trust that other person as well. You need to be patient, because, for example, Dilip told me immediately what's the scene with his parents, how it's usually going, and I accepted it. It was strange to me, but I was patient, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is how it goes. I should accept this. I just need to be patient with this, and things will unfold eventually. But people around me were really very skeptical about this. You know, for them, it's like, oh, he doesn't take it seriously enough. Oh, he's just playing with you. Oh, he's not like a man enough to stand up in front of his parents. And I'm like, no, it's not like that. So you don't be discouraged by anyone else who has no clue about these traditions or these things. It's your life. You should focus on your relationship. And
Yes.
I think both partners have to be very straightforward with each other. You can't or shouldn't play any games anyways, in my opinion, in a relationship. But I would think that they are very sensitive about telling the truth always.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was lucky with this maybe, but I could really trust him, and I never had a feeling that, oh my God, I'm gonna move to India and he's gonna leave me alone, or I'm gonna get so much trouble, or I cannot trust him. He never gave me any reason not to trust him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you probably know how many stories where girls were left with broken hearts. Yeah, I don't know if you ever
Yeah.
getting any contact from such girls, because it's a very common thing that, for example, okay, the guy comes abroad. You probably know this the same scenario. Yeah, then he falls in love with a local girl. Then they date for years and years, and the guy can't tell his family that he is actually in love there. Keep looking for some girls for him. He goes to India, he rejects, and eventually sometimes they can't reject. They say, okay, I will marry the girl you choose for me, and then the girl is
Yes.
heartbroken. Like she wasted 5 years, like I don't know, 4 years for him. Yeah, and in the end he could say no to his family.
I think also it's very important to set uh, rules or the boundaries at the first time. So if the guy says that, for example, in our case, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to India, my attitude was like, yeah, okay, so this is eventually going to end. I was
Mhm.
aware of that. I was not trying to um, dream about, yeah, it's gonna change, yeah, he's gonna change his mind, yeah, probably I can convince him to stay. I had no thoughts like that.
Yes.
And I think it's really important that you should not chase these wishes or dreams if it's unrealistic, based on
Mhm.
what emotion or reaction you get from the other, I
Yeah, but
think.
in many cases, the guys are like, "Oh, I love you so much. I will talk to my family." Yes, they will accept you. Don't worry. It's fine. We will go together to India. And still, I think they should be
Oh,
honest also. If they know that their parents are very conservative, that they will never accept the choice, they should be honest. At least they say, "Okay, I love you. Yes, I want to be with you, but I'm not sure how my family would react." So they should then at least go as prepared. But in this
yeah.
case, I felt sorry, and there are so many. I don't know if you have this problem in Hungary, but in Russia, a lot of girls are left with kids. Even.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I haven't. I only heard these scary stories about women marrying African or Middle Eastern men because of the Islam. It's a bit different complications.
yes.
Mm, but
But
no,
there
not.
are so many kids. I was even contacted because I was trying to help. There is a program where, for example, people search for someone for their love, or kids search for their father or mother or something like that. And I was trying to help in India because I knew a lot of people there, and I saw so many kids that they're searching for their fathers. They're already grown up, but they never saw them. They never helped their mothers. They just left. That's all. And I felt like my heart was broken. How? Because Indians, they say that we are very good fathers. We always help our kids. We love kids. But what I see that they get kids, they go way back to India, and then that's all. They forget their kids. And that was really sad, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's really tough.
Yes, so in Russia we have a lot of sad stories. That's why many girls, when I was contacted sometimes, okay, what to do, because I don't know anything about India, I don't know anything about Indians, how to behave with them. That's why I'm always asking this question, because it's a different culture, it's different, everything is different. What we are used to, it's not common for Indian person. That's why the question is how really to understand that the guy is serious, that he's not playing around, because they, you know, Eastern men, they can talk very sweet. They can actually make you fall in love with them very easily, yeah. But if it's true feelings or not, that's the question.
I think for me that was already a big step when the first or the second time he went back to visit his family for a short time. He already talked to his mother about me. And for me, something that, okay, this is like serious enough, you know, like he's not just joking around. And he also told me that, yeah, Anna, this was a big deal. Now there is this drama. So he was willing to take that up.
So he would go against his family if they said no. See, then your husband is different, yeah, because most of the guys, they can't take it. They just because some Indian parents, they say, we did everything for you, we paid for your education, we just invested so much money for you, and you now try to marry someone of your choice. How is it possible? They like that, the thing that they like to get control over the situation. And not everyone can say, okay, that I'm big enough, I'm not a child anymore, and I can take my responsibility. And if I decide to marry this girl, I will marry this girl. You probably know that, yes.
Yes. I think another big difference is that my parents, for example, tell me stories when they rebelled against their parents, or what issues they overcame, or how they fought their parents in this or that throughout their lives. And I don't think it's so common in India. So people see their parents obeying to the grandparents and their parents to the previous generations. It's rooted more deeply in people to respect them so much. So yeah.
Yeah, for us it's different. Yeah, if you love someone, and if our parents say no, we will still just, okay, I love this guy, why should I listen? Yeah. Okay, maybe I know some girls who would listen. Yes, I heard the stories that actually the girl left some Indian guy because her parents said no. But it's actually not very common thing. But in India, it's opposite, yeah. And I think it's more difficult for the girls even if they're in love with foreigners, because I asked them always, how did your family react? And some of them said that our relatives still don't know that we are married, yeah, because it's a shame, yes. They already have kids, everything, but some relatives, they don't know that she's married to a foreigner, yeah, because it's a shame for them, yeah, that she went against the wish of everyone, yes. So we are lucky to have open-minded, not conservative husbands, and of course families. Yeah, so from your side, it's also the case. See, your husband was also maybe afraid in the beginning to tell them what was their reaction, but in the end.
Like, also, I understand the part where you don't want to get into trouble for something that you are unsure of, maybe in the beginning, that you don't know how it will end up, and you don't want to, you know, unnecessary drama. You don't want to cause.
Yes, and one thing also, they think that, okay, she will take away our son to her country and she will not come to visit us. I can understand that fear. Yeah, it's probably the same with our parents. Yeah, imagine when you told your parents and they first probably thought, "Oh, she will go to India, we will not see her very often, on how it will go, if she's going to visit us or not." Yes, so I think it's the same, I would say. Our parents are also worried.
Yes.
And it's pretty normal. They want us to marry our own type because they think that it's the same culture, the same mentality, everything is the same. But still, in Russia, we have a lot of rate of divorces, even among Russians, yeah.
Also in Hungary, there are more divorces than marriages.
Yeah, see, and there are very successful intercultural marriages. So it's you should really listen to your heart, I think. It doesn't matter whom you marry in the end. If it's a foreigner, if it's it doesn't matter which skin color he has. The most important that you feel that it's your own person. You feel comfortable with him.
And the understanding towards each other from both of you, I think. Like if you two can work well together on your life, that's what matters, nothing else.
Yeah, and of course, talks. You need to talk a lot. You need to tell in advance, yeah, that I don't like this, okay, or how would you think if I do this, and how, okay, I don't know, in which religion we should raise our kids, will you allow me to wear this clothes? Even simple questions, because in the end it can be really shock if you just marry someone blindly, and then this person say, oh, you shouldn't wear this. Why are you talking to this guy? Show me your phone. I want to check to whom you are talking. Yes, it can be anything actually.
Yes, this kind of trust, and also that, for example, we talked about these big things, let's say, like how we would raise kids, or what language would they speak, or all these things, or I don't know, very early in the relationship when it was very unsure what will happen. But it's, I think, better because you can spend years and years with someone without knowing their point, where they stand on these things, and eventually it turns out that you have completely different mindset, and that causes so big disagreement that it can end up in a divorce or a breakup, and you could have discussed these topics so much earlier. So it's not just about time waste, it's a lot of energy and heartbreak, and because, for example, we talked about this topic of the, like how many kids we would want, and some
a simple topic, which name we will give to our kids, because you will say, okay, I want only Hungarian name for our child, and then your husband say, no, I want only Indian name. Then what to do in this case?
And we talked about these things like after a few months of meeting each other, and I had a friend who was shocked that you're talking about this, the kids. Are you wanting kids right now? And I'm like, no, I don't want kids right now, but I have to know this, because if it's, I don't know, 6 years later, we want kids, and it turns out that we are completely incompatible with each other, then what do we do?
Yes, even in which traditions you are going to bring up your kids, because you are following different religions, for example. Yeah. Or you will bring them up in both religions. It's also important. Or one religion would be dominated. It's like everything is important, yes. And it's important to discuss, actually, before you get kids. That's right. Because when you get them, it's too late already.
Yes.
Yeah, and actually, luckily, both you and your husband, you are not very religious, so you will not just push, okay, our child have to do puja every day, or my wife have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, that's actually, I heard many stories like this, yeah, that some Indian guys, they marry foreigner girls and they want them to be Indian. That's the thing. You marry a foreigner, but you are still looking for an Indian wife. Why? Then why?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, I haven't got any like saying from Dilip about this, and I honestly don't think either that I should convert myself into an Indian too much, because that's not the person that he fell in love in the first place. I feel.
Yes. No, I think you should respect his religion,
Yes.
his tradition, his culture. Yes, everything you should show respect. The same he should show respect for your culture, your traditions. But this is important because if you, for example, if you hate his tradition, his culture, if you don't like anything about India, then it won't be successful anyway. How can you live together? And as
Right.
you said, maybe you will go back to India after some time.
But
Yes.
also, I wouldn't want him to, if even if he would be religious, I wouldn't want him to change his religion to like Christian or anything, because mainly, of course, because it's not so important to me as the religion, but I did not fall in love with the Christian guy at the
Yes,
first.
that's true.
So I changed that.
Yeah, no, that's actually right. When you try to change your partner, that means that something is not right. If you accept him the way he is, then it's perfect. That's what I believe. And this is big mistake that someone try to change something. Yes, they think, oh, maybe he would be can be more like my own type. But then you should be together, I think.
I think if you can't like the other as they are, you can't change them enough so that you would like them because of that change either. You won't like them that way either.
But one question I would like to ask you: what do you think? Did India change you in some way? And can you say that India became, okay, let's say, your second home? Although you didn't live there for a long time yet, but did this country change you? Because I think the country where you live, it can change you a lot. And sometimes you come back to your own country and you feel that you don't fit there anymore. That something has changed in me.
Yes. Well, it was not a long time that I was there, so I wouldn't say it's my second home, but it's always will be a place where I feel welcome, let's say, and where I'm happy to go back anytime. And it definitely did change me. I think it made me stronger and more easygoing as well. In Hungary, we tend to focus on problems so much and on small,
That's true.
minor inconveniences in the daily life, and in India, I had to face so many daily challenges compared to the lifestyle I had here. So now here, there's no problem I cannot solve. I feel it's so easy. We figured this already out. That mainly.
And people, do you feel comfortable now in Hungary after being in India? Because I find it very difficult if you go to some country where people are very open, very like welcoming, and then all of a sudden I'm back, for example, to Russia. Okay, here I will not compare with Netherlands because it's different. But if I go back to Russia and I see totally different attitude of people. They just, if you smile to someone, they think that, oh, she's an alien, is she crazy or something? But how do you feel like when you came back?
Like I know that the approach or how you deal with Hungarian people is totally different. And even before I went to India, many times here people thought I'm a foreigner. So in Budapest, it's full of tourists and foreign people and expats. And it happened many times that people start to talk to me in English, or even at the Budapest airport, the people, the staff, when you go into the scan and everything, they immediately talk to me in English. And when I respond in Hungarian, they're like, oh, Magyar vagy, you're Hungarian? And I'm like, yes, I am. And they're surprised. So, I don't know.
No, because I see in all your pictures you are smiling, so you are not a typical Hungarian. Yeah, I don't know how really Hungarian people look because I did. To be honest, I met I think only one girl. Yeah, I think she had darker hair. Yeah, maybe it's a common thing in Hungary that you have more people with darker hair than with like blonde hair. But I think you still see maybe India changed you. Maybe you were already like this. I was born in Russia, but I couldn't accept it, that all people are kind of always angry looking and they're not smiling. And I feel that I don't fit there. I don't fit in this society. That's why I feel more comfortable here. So maybe you are also like this.
Yeah, it's possible, very possible. Honestly, whenever I return from abroad, not only like India, I lived a short while in Luxembourg, and even there the people were more like direct and kind and helpful immediately. I come back, and the first few days I'm like so strange. Everybody is so strange, and and I immediately feel like helping out someone if I see that they are struggling with some information or at some office or some administration. And I feel that it's not the normal. People live there, suffer, do their own thing. I mind my own thing. They do mind their own thing. I don't get involved. That's the average attitude. And I feel this, especially shortly after coming back from abroad, that I'm happy to help. I go there. I don't know, tell them, go there and translate or like pick up what they drop, even to that simple things. But here, no, that's not the norm.
Yeah, I can understand you very well. And what do you think for the intercultural marriage or couple? Where it's better to live actually? Somewhere in the third country, or for example, at your husband's place or his wife? Okay, in your case, now you are staying at your place. But would you like to live somewhere else, like not India, not Hungary, somewhere in third place?
I'm open to discover new countries, to be honest, but I can definitely say I don't want to move to anywhere colder than Hungary, because Hungarian winters are in general, I would say it makes more sense to me to live in one of us home countries, because there we have one family to support us, especially later on when kids, potentially it's good to have some grandparents around, be it his parents or my parents. But if life comes like that, I'm happy to move to discover a new place as well. I'm not against anything.
On that point, I agree with you. It's always good to have some help, some family nearby. But on the other side, I also think that it's good to live in a third country. Then you don't depend on anything. Like, so it's new for your husband. It's new for you. It's like you just start together, or maybe your husband already, or you live in some third country. I think from that point, it's a really good option.
And also that in that case, both of you have to make that kind of sacrifice to be not at the home country, because I think that it's fair in that way. So if I would say him that I never moved to India, I don't think it's fair that he has to sacrifice his family. Or if he would say that, okay, from tomorrow we live in India till we die, that wouldn't be fair either, I think. So it's either like we spend time here, spend time there, and move here or there, or live in a third country, so it's equal.
Yeah, I would say there are more sacrifices in this case, because when you are in a intercultural marriage, that you have your family, he has his family. Of course, it's natural that he's missing his parents. When you were in India, you couldn't see your parents, so it's difficult for both. Yeah, we have to be strong.
Fight all the odds. We have to fight all the odds.
Yes, but the most important, I think, to have support of your partner. If you stay in India, it's very important to have the support of your husband, first of all. If you stay in Hungary, of course, he needs more of your support, because there can be situations which he can't handle, and you can help with them.
Yes, yeah, definitely. The basic thing is to have each other's back, no matter what, to be there for each other, because you can't really rely on anybody else.
Yes, of course. So we have each other's support. Yeah, and I think it's important. Yeah, it's very important. It's also very important, I would say, for Indian guys, how if they really support you when you live in India. Because sometimes it's difficult because with all these things, like with the parents, with everyone, and if your husband doesn't support you enough, you feel like you are alone there, because you don't have anyone there. You don't have your family there. It's only your husband. That's all.
The two of you. Yes, yes. Sorry, yeah. I'm just plugging in my phone because my battery is low, but now I'm good.
Yes, after my interviews, my phone is always dead because I can't make them short, but it's always very interesting to talk about this intercultural relationship, because everyone is different, and it's so nice to meet really happy couples, and I want to show these happy examples that if there is love, if there is respect, everything is possible. So it doesn't matter where is your husband from, where is your wife from, so there should be love, respect, understanding, whatever. Yes, and it was really nice talking to you. I'm very happy you agreed to answer
Thank you.
my questions. Yeah, to bear me for 2 hours. I told you I can't make it short, but I think it was very important to discuss all these things, and I'm sure it will help other girls. Maybe they will listen to us and really think, okay, that maybe something is wrong in my relation, or maybe everything is fine, but I think that it's wrong. So that's why I'm gonna to continue these interviews, and I'm sure I will meet very nice people. Yeah, and now I really want to visit Budapest. I always wanted to visit Budapest, especially, I don't know, I would say more than Prague. Yeah, because Russians, they always like to go to Prague. It's like the best city in the world. Yeah, but
kind of similar, but yeah.
Yeah, but I really want to see Budapest because I got very nice Hungarian friend here, and it was like I really wanted to go there. But hopefully one day, I don't know how is the situation there, so hopefully I will be able to visit and we can meet. And you are always welcome to Amsterdam, to Netherlands, of course. I don't know, have you ever been here?
No, not yet.
Then you have to come. And thanks a lot again for being with me and answering my question. And I would like to thank everyone. I see we got some fans, see some guys writing. Thanks for your kind words. And for sure, we will keep in touch. And if you couldn't see our live meeting, then you can always see record. I will save everything on YouTube or on Instagram. And of course, I would like to ask everyone, start following Anna. She's a very interesting person. You would be impressed by her paintings, sorry. And because she's really talented. My compliment to you. You should continue, okay? Because if you like something, you should continue. Yes, that's what I believe. And I think
painting is something that if I don't do, I can't not do. Like after a while, I have to do it. Always.
Yes. Yeah, because all of us have something what we really like, and we always don't have time for our hobbies. Okay, I can do it later, and now I'm too busy with my life. But we should always try to find time for something we like. I think the same to me. I need to start singing again because I can't live without it. Maybe painting as well, yeah, because it's something that makes you more calm, more peaceful. Because
helps to distress a lot.
Yes, and now it's very stressful time, so we should try to do something that brings us, I don't know, more happiness, more positive vibes. I would say thanks again, Anna, for this lovely conversation. It was really nice meeting you, and I hope everyone else enjoyed being with us. I see some people were watching from the beginning until the end. Thanks a lot for your patience, and I wish you a nice day, and I'm sure we will meet again. I told you about some interviews with other girls. I will surely invite you. When everything is planned, I will let you know. It would be my pleasure to meet you again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the good talk, Laura. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.